Well, Just Stop Oil spokesperson Zoe Cohen can join us now to talk about this. Zoe, judging by the reaction of the crowds this afternoon or earlier to what Johnny Bairstow did, I'm not sure your tactic really worked.
Hi, Pip. Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Well, there's been a huge number of requests for interviews since the action took place at the Ashes this morning, so I think we'd say that was quite successful, wouldn't you?
Well, successful in what particular way? Because the allegation or the charge is you are losing support by the stunts that you carried out. I'm just reading what Sir Keir Starmer has said. Disappointed in the actions of Just Stop Oil. A Labour Party spokesman saying your tactics are counterproductive, dangerous and wrong. This sort of activity is not appropriate or justifiable in any way. I wouldn't actually say that's winning any people to your cause, is it?
Thanks, Mark. It's not a cause, Mark, is it? It's about survival. Lord Deben, I don't know if you heard him interviewed, he's the chair of the Climate Change Committee, the government's own body monitoring government performance on climate action. He was interviewed this morning on the radio, I heard him, and he talked about the millions and millions of people whose future is being destroyed and how the world will be too hot for people to live in if we don't take immediate action, and that even in this country we won't be able to have the food and water we need.
OK, that might be a valid argument, Zoe, but what gives you the right to impinge on thousands of people today who've paid a lot of money to go and see the test at Lord's? What gives you the right to invade them like that? Zoe.
With love and respect to you, sweetheart. Did you not
hear
what I said?
Don't patronise me. Please just answer the question.
I'm not patronising you. I am a mum. I have a 20-year-old daughter and I want her to survive. I want her to have a future. I have a 3-year-old niece and I really want her to have hope. She can't even understand what's going on yet. She's only 3. But the head of the Climate Change Committee is saying we won't have food and water. If you don't listen to us, listen to him.
But Zoe, you haven't answered my question. What gives you the right to go into Lord's today and go onto that pitch when people have spent a lot of hard-earned money on a ticket to go and enjoy a day of cricket?
We are on a highway to climate hell, as the UN Secretary-General says. If ordinary people, supporters of Just Stop Oil, don't call the government's inaction and the government's genocidal policies for new oil and gas out, no one does it. You guys don't do it in the media. Who does it if we don't call it out? We have to call out the fact that they are planning over 100 new fossil fuel licences. This must end. It is genocidal and it is a war against the young.
Well, with due respect to you, we have covered the fact that obviously Labour has suggested no more licences for North Sea oil exploration or for drilling, so we do cover the issue. But let us put this to you again. The problem for you is that people are not talking about your cause, they are talking about what a pain in the backside you are in terms of disrupting traffic, disrupting sporting events. You're missing the message.
Well, that's a choice that you guys have, isn't it? That journalists, editors in the media have.
No, we are just reporting what is taking place in the public reaction.
Well, you could be choosing to cover the most important story of our time. I don't know if you've actually covered the fact that the world went over 1.5 degrees global average heating at the beginning of June. That's the threshold that all governments were supposed to be avoiding to avoid catastrophic, irreversible climate change, the breakdown of all that we love, the loss of everything we need to survive as people. And we started to cross that threshold only weeks ago. Did you cover that?
Well, we have been covering climate change. We've been covering the wildfires in Canada, the effects directly
Mark,
on
I asked you,
what is...
Did
yes,
you cover specifically the fact that the world... No, you haven't. You didn't answer the question whether you covered at the beginning of June that the world went over 1.5 degrees global average heating. Did you cover that specific?
Yes, we did. We reported that fact, as we have with other natural occurrences such as the wildfires, which are being attributed
but it's not a natural occurrence.
Let me finish, please. You have asked me a question. Please have the decency to let us answer you. We covered then what people say are the direct consequences, such as the forest fires underway in Canada at the moment.
Great, that's really, really good to hear. So that you'll know that new oil and gas is a death sentence. We cannot afford to have more new oil and gas on top of the deadly amount that we already have in the atmosphere with the carbon emissions we have. It's not us saying that, it's the UN, it's the world leading scientists, it's the Climate Change Committee, it's the Pope, it's all doctors around the world.
And
there are so many people saying
absolutely,
this.
Zoe, you have a lot of evidence to support what you were saying. I totally appreciate that. But do you not think that perhaps you are losing people's respect by engaging in stunts like this yet again today? Because all what happens is people go, well, hey, Johnny Bairstow, isn't he amazing carrying off that protester? I'm not hearing many people going, well, hey, Just Stop Oil, aren't they brilliant?
Social change is a lot more complex than that, Pip, isn't it? We have to keep sounding the alarm. Alarm bells are not comfortable things. They have to just keep ringing and ringing and ringing until we get the action. The campaign has made huge strides and had huge progress in the year or so it's been going. All political parties, apart from the Tory party, are on board more or less with the no new fossil fuels. We have to keep going. We have no choice. I don't know if you've got young people or children in your families or grandchildren, but their future's absolutely stuffed unless we stop new oil and gas. So anyone watching needs to come and join us. 12 noon, Saturday, Parliament Square.
Can I just ask you, though, that if there is a growing weight of evidence that suggests that your message is not getting through because of the way that you are protesting, will you actually change tactic? Will you actually have a different approach to actually still talk about the issue, but in a different way?
It's a good question, Mark. There's no evidence that... for what you're describing. We hear it a lot in the media that we're putting people off, but we have no evidence for that.
OK, well, let me just read you.
Please may I finish, because I did let you finish before.
Yeah, OK.
The research shows that when groups like Just Stop Oil take more what's called radical action, although it's hardly radical compared to what you see going around the world at the moment in terms of climate impacts, it actually encourages people to step up and to support more moderate groups, as well as people to step up and actually join Just Stop Oil. So we have people joining us constantly. You know, it's not evidence-based what colleagues in the media keep saying about we're putting people off, we don't have the support. You know, all civil resistance groups in history haven't been popular at the time. We're not even trying to be popular. We're trying to get the most important story that humanity has ever had in the media day after day.
Right.
And that is working. It's front page day after day. We're having these conversations.
This
People
is the
watching
question.
this are able to hear that the government has genocidal policies. It's
This is the
continuing
question.
to do oil and gas.
Is it working? Because you've addressed the situation about the government, but I'm going to read to you again what the Labour Party have said in the last hour. And, of course, suggestions that they have party donors associated with Just Stop Oil. This is what they've said. We've made our views clear on Just Stop Oil. What individuals choose to do with their money is a matter for them. But in terms of supporting their tactics, we've been very clear that we don't. So not only are you not getting the support of the government, you're not even getting the support of the opposition.
It's not the support of tactics that matter, Mark. It's the policy changes that must happen and must happen quickly. And if we're talking about political donations, to level things up, we really must mention that the Conservative Party had 3.5 million from oil companies, polluters and climate deniers last year alone. This government are literally the mouthpiece of the oil companies. That's probably one of the reasons why they don't want to end new fossil fuel
forgive me, I was talking about the Labour Party.
But they really must. It's genocidal.
I was talking about the Labour Party, not the government, quite specifically.
I know, I was just trying to level things up and have a little bit of mention both sides, because people like Dale Vince, who donate to the Labour Party and also donate to Just Stop Oil, they're not hiding anything. They're also not causing the death of millions of people around the world, which is what oil and gas is causing. Dale is developing renewables, which are much cheaper than oil and gas, and are one of the things that we massively need, as well as energy efficiency, better public transport, insulation of our homes, blah, blah, blah. All the things that the government are failing on, if you read the Committee on Climate Change report that Lord Deben talks about. Please do cover that. It's an excellent report.
So we're running out of time. I just want to ask you, you've already disrupted the rugby. You disrupted the snooker. You've now disrupted the cricket. What's the next sporting event you're going to disrupt?
I honestly don't know, Pip, but when one emotionally engages with the reality of the fact that our kids are going to be fighting over food in the next decade or so, if that, disrupting sports events is like not a big deal, is it really? We need to think about the survival of our families and our communities and our brothers and sisters all around the world who are dying right now because of climate impacts.
Zoe Cohen, spokesperson for Just Stop Oil, thank you very much indeed for joining us on GB News and taking us through all the arguments. Thanks for your time.